The woman who answered her door at 3 p.m. on Tuesday was found dead by Thursday morning. The killer used a trick so simple that 99% of people fall for it every single time. What did she miss that could have saved her life? Your front door might be the most dangerous place in your house. Not because of some horror movie nonsense, but because of what happens when you rush to answer it without thinking. Most people treat their front door like it's some kind of magical barrier. They assume nothing bad can happen as long as they're inside looking out. Wrong. Dead wrong. Around 34% of burglars don't even need to break in. They just walk through the front door like they own the place. Here's what really happens. You hear the doorbell ring. Maybe you're cooking dinner, watching TV, or arguing with your teenager about screen time. The sound interrupts whatever you're doing, and your brain goes into autopilot mode. You walk over and open the door without a second thought. That split second of mindless door opening. That's when criminals strike. They're not wearing ski masks or carrying crowbars like in the movies. These people show up in uniforms. Delivery drivers, utility workers, even fake police officers. They look official, sound professional, and count on your politeness to get inside. The moment you open that door, you've already lost half the battle. But burglars aren't the only problem. Distraction near the door causes more accidents than you'd think. People trip over packages, slip on wet porches, or hurt themselves rushing to answer unexpected visitors. One moment of inattention can lead to a twisted ankle, a nasty fall, or worse. Let's not forget the break-in stories you never hear about. The ones where nothing gets stolen because the criminal was just testing your response time. They ring doorbells in different neighborhoods, noting which houses have people who answer immediately versus those where residents pause and ask questions first. Guess which homes they target later. Then there are the psychological tricks. Criminals study human behavior like it's their day job. They know most people feel obligated to answer the door when someone knocks. They understand that politeness makes you vulnerable. Ring the bell at dinner time when families are distracted, and most people will open up without thinking twice. The weird part is how predictable we've become. We order everything online now, so unexpected packages don't raise red flags anymore. We're used to service calls, delivery notifications, and maintenance visits. This convenience culture has made us sitting ducks for anyone who wants to exploit our trust. Smart criminals don't just case houses, they case habits. They watch when you leave for work, when you get home, when you're most likely to be distracted. That innocent-looking person with a clipboard who knocked yesterday might have been mapping your routine, not selling magazine subscriptions. And here's the kicker. Most home security systems focus on keeping people out, but they can't protect you from threats you invite inside yourself. Your front door isn't just an entrance, it's a decision point. Every time someone knocks or rings that bell, you're making a choice that could change everything. The question is whether you're making that choice consciously or just reacting on autopilot. What if there was a simple way to take back control of that moment? A method that takes almost no time but dramatically increases your safety. Looking at the door situation we just covered, you're probably thinking there has to be a better way. Well, there is. The 10-second rule isn't some complicated security system you need to install or a martial arts move you need to master. It's ridiculously simple. Here's how it works. Before you open your door, you pause for exactly 10 seconds and run through 5 quick safety checks. 2 seconds per check. That's it. Sounds almost too easy, right? But here's the thing, those 10 seconds can be the difference between a normal day and a nightmare you'll never forget. Real estate professionals have been using variations of this rule for years. They walk into empty houses all day long, and the smart ones never just barge through doors without checking first. They've seen too many weird situations to take chances. One agent told me she once found a homeless person living in a supposedly vacant house because the previous agent rushed in without looking around first. The beauty of this rule is that it works with how your brain actually functions. Studies show that when we're distracted or in a hurry, we miss obvious warning signs, like embarrassingly obvious ones. Researchers tested this by having actors dress as gorillas and walk through busy areas. Most people didn't even notice them because they were focused on getting somewhere fast. Your brain needs those 10 seconds to switch from autopilot mode to awareness mode. When someone knocks and you immediately reach for the handle, you're operating on reflex. But when you pause, something interesting happens. Your hearing sharpens. Your vision focuses. You start picking up details that were invisible moments before. Making this a habit changes everything about how you interact with your front door. Instead of treating it like an automatic barrier that opens whenever someone approaches, you start seeing it as your first line of defense. That shift in mindset alone makes you safer. The 5 checks aren't rocket science either. You're basically asking yourself, what do I see? What do I hear? What feels wrong? Who's really out there? Should I trust this situation? Simple questions that most people never bother to ask because they're too busy being polite or convenient. Here's what makes this rule different from other safety advice. Most security tips require you to buy something, install something, or remember complicated procedures. This rule uses equipment you already have: your eyes, ears, and gut instinct. Plus, it doesn't make you look paranoid or rude to visitors. You're just being thorough. The weird part is how quickly this becomes automatic. After about a week of practicing, you won't even think about it. Those 10 seconds will feel as natural as looking both ways before crossing a street. And just like checking for traffic, skipping this step even once can have serious consequences, but knowing the rule is only half the battle. The real magic happens when you understand exactly what to look for during those crucial 10 seconds. Each check has a specific purpose, and missing even one can leave you vulnerable to threats you never saw coming. Let's break down the 10-second rule into 5 simple checks. 2 seconds each. First, scan your porch area. Don't just peek through the peephole, look around the entire entrance zone. Check the corners where someone might hide. Notice if bushes or decorations look disturbed. Basically, you're doing a quick sweep for anything that screams something's not right here. The second check focuses on your ears. Listen for whispered conversations, shuffling feet, or multiple people trying to stay quiet. Criminals often work in pairs, with one person at your door while another waits nearby. Ever notice how legitimate visitors usually chat normally or make typical noises? Sketchy people sound different. They're either too quiet or trying too hard to seem casual. Then comes the vehicle scan. Look for cars parked close to your house with engines running. Why would someone keep their car running for a quick delivery or legitimate visit? They wouldn't. Running engines often mean someone plans a fast getaway. Also check for vehicles you don't recognize that seem positioned for a quick escape route. Your fourth scan targets objects that don't belong. That package you weren't expecting could be a prop. Some criminals place fake packages to make their presence seem normal. But here's the weird part. They often forget small details like proper shipping labels or realistic packaging tape. Real delivery services have specific ways they handle packages, and experienced criminals sometimes miss these details. The final check is pure instinct. Your gut feeling matters more than most people realize. If something feels off, it probably is. Don't let politeness override your survival instincts. That nice person at your door might genuinely be nice, or they might be testing whether you're an easy target. Let's not forget the practical timing here. 10 seconds sounds short, but it's actually longer than you think. Try counting to 10 slowly right now. See how much you can observe. Most people rush this process because they feel awkward making someone wait. Well, legitimate visitors expect a brief delay. Criminals, however, prefer quick door openings because it gives them less time to be spotted by neighbors or security cameras. The beauty of this system lies in its flexibility. You're not being paranoid, you're being smart. Each check builds on the previous one, creating a complete safety picture. Miss one check, and you might miss the detail that keeps you safe. And the weird part is how this becomes automatic after just a few days of practice. Your brain starts processing these checks without conscious effort. You'll find yourself naturally noticing things that would have slipped past you before. But what happens when these checks reveal actual danger signals? When your 10-second scan confirms that something really is wrong, that's where most people freeze up or make critical mistakes. Knowing how to spot trouble is only half the battle. The other half involves taking the right actions when trouble finds you. You've spotted the danger signs. Your gut is screaming that something's not right. What happens next separates the smart from the sorry. First rule, that door stays closed. Doesn't matter if they're wearing a uniform, holding a clipboard, or claiming your house is on fire. Real emergencies don't wait for you to crack open a door. They come with sirens and flashing lights. The moment you open that door, you've lost control of the situation. Talk through the door instead. Your voice carries just fine through wood and glass. Ask questions. Lots of them. What company are you with? What's your supervisor's name? Can you call my number right now so I can verify? Legitimate workers expect this stuff. They deal with security-conscious people all day long. Scammers, they get frustrated fast. Then there's the ID trick that most people mess up completely. Don't ask to see their ID through the door. Anyone can fake a badge or uniform these days. Instead, tell them you're calling their company to verify they sent someone. Watch how quickly fake delivery guys remember they're at the wrong address. But here's where it gets interesting. While you're talking, grab your phone and call someone. Not 911, not yet. Call a neighbor, your spouse, or that friend who's always home. Tell them loudly enough for the person outside to hear, "Hey, someone's at my door claiming to be from the gas company. Can you come over?" Amazing how fast suspicious visitors develop urgent business elsewhere when they realize you're not alone. Smart doorbells changed this game entirely. These little gadgets let you see, record, and talk to visitors without getting anywhere near the door. Some even let you answer from work, making it sound like you're home when you're not. The beauty, everything gets recorded automatically. Try explaining that footage to police later if something goes wrong. Let's not forget your escape plan though. Most people think about the front door and stop there. What about your back door? Side gate, basement exit? Right now before you need it, walk through your house and make sure every exit is clear and unlocked from the inside. Nothing worse than running from danger, only to find your escape route blocked by yesterday's Amazon boxes. And the weird part is how many people forget about their car keys during a crisis. Keep them somewhere you can grab quickly. Your car isn't just transportation, it's a 2,000 pound weapon and a panic room with wheels if things go really sideways. Here's what separates the prepared from the paranoid. You're not trying to become a fortress, you're just buying yourself time and options. Time to think, time to call for help, time to make smart decisions instead of panicked ones. The goal isn't to live in fear, it's to live smart. Every second you stay in control is a second the situation can't spiral out of hand, but knowing what to do in the moment is only half the battle. The real magic happens when these smart responses become automatic habits that protect not just you but everyone around you. Most people learn the 10-second rule once and forget it by Tuesday. That's like buying a smoke detector and never changing the batteries. The real magic happens when this becomes as automatic as checking your phone, which, let's be honest, you probably do about 96 times a day anyway. Here's what separates the pros from everyone else. They use the 10-second rule for every single person who knocks. Even Grandma Betty gets the full treatment. Why? Because 67% of home invasions involve someone the victim recognized or thought they knew. That delivery guy who's been to your house 3 times. Still gets the pause and scan routine. Your neighbor's new boyfriend. Same deal, but the weird part is how this simple habit creates a ripple effect throughout your entire household. When you consistently pause at the door, your kids notice. They start asking questions. Suddenly, your 12-year-old isn't yanking the door open for random strangers while you're in the shower. Teaching children this rule isn't about scaring them, it's about giving them a superpower disguised as common sense. The family training practically teaches itself. Show them the 5 checks: look, listen, vehicles, objects, gut feeling. Make it a game if you want. What do you notice before we open up? Kids love being detectives, and this turns them into your best security partners. Then there's the lock situation that most people mess up completely. They install fancy deadbolts but leave doors unlocked while they're home watching Netflix. That's like wearing a seatbelt only on Sundays. Lock your doors even when you're inside. Criminals aren't checking your calendar to see when you're available for break-ins. Let's not forget the neighborhood effect that happens when multiple families adopt these habits. When 3 houses on your street start using the 10-second rule, something interesting occurs. The would-be criminals notice. They see people actually paying attention, asking questions, taking time to assess situations. Suddenly, your street becomes the difficult target, and they move along to easier pickings. Studies from the National Institute of Justice show that neighborhoods where residents practice basic door safety see a 43% reduction in forced entries. That's not coincidence. That's the power of collective awareness creating an invisible security network. The sharing part works best when it's casual. You're not organizing a neighborhood watch meeting. You're just mentioning to your friend Sarah that you've started pausing before opening your door, and how it helped you avoid that sketchy guy last week who claimed to be reading gas meters at 9 p.m. on a Saturday. And the strange thing about building this habit, after about 2 weeks, those 10 seconds don't feel long anymore. They feel necessary. You'll start feeling weird when you don't do it. Your brain begins craving that brief moment of assessment before any door interaction. The beautiful part about all this, you're not just protecting yourself. You're creating a culture of awareness that spreads naturally, making everyone around you safer without them even realizing it. That's how small changes create big differences.